Hello and welcome to Lamplighter. Today is May 18. Today, as we continue reading from the Proverbs, we are looking at some Proverbs that are based around the idea of sharing and responding to wisdom. As we said from the very beginning of our study of Proverbs, wisdom is a theme that is woven all the way through them. Sometimes, as we saw in our first day reading the Proverbs, wisdom is personified as an individual person who's speaking like a human being, giving advice to those who would follow. But in other places woven throughout the Proverbs is simply references to wisdom and how it can guide one through one's life. And that's the case today as we look at sharing and responding to wisdom. So we begin first with the contrast of advice and rebuke. How do we respond when people seek to give us advice, or when people even correct us or rebuke us? Here we read, listen to advice and accept instruction, and in the end, you will be wise. Whenever we listen to advice, whenever we receive instruction from others and welcome it, the Proverbs writer says we will be wise as a result. Or how about this one? Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. Here the idea is that sometimes people flatter us. Sometimes people simply say what they think we want to hear, and that really doesn't help us grow. It doesn't really help us make any necessary changes. Sometimes a friend who cares for us deeply might say some things that are intended to help us, but are somewhat painful. They are like wounds. But if we respond appropriately, we can make the necessary changes and become a better person. That's why we read, wounds from a friend can be trusted. Or how about this one? As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. We make each other better. And sometimes in order to do that, we say some difficult things to hear because we want each other to be better and to grow more deeply. Here we also read some advice about the value of advisors, and that is to not simply make decisions as an individual, not living our life in some sort of vacuum, but understanding that we can surround ourselves with others who have wisdom that we may not have. Some people that can give us some much needed advice so that we can make better decisions. That's what we instruct our children to do. Always surround yourself with people who can give you the right kind of help and the right kind of guidance. The same is true for every human being. There is great value in listening to the wisdom of other people. It has been proven in studies over and over again that no matter how brilliant an individual is, he or she always performs better when surrounded by a group of people working on the same idea. That is because we all understand two heads are better than one. And the reason we say that is because when you put people together, the end result is often a better quality. We read some instruction about discipline, which is, by the way, a familiar theme throughout the Proverbs. Let's look at some of these excerpts together. And I'm going to read some excerpts on pages 625 and 626. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves. As a father, the son he delights in. When we are being disciplined by God, it shouldn't make us resentful. It should make us appreciative, because it's a demonstration that God cares deeply for us and wants to lead us and guide us in the right way. He who heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. He who spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is careful to discipline him. So here we read some instruction given to parents about how to demonstrate love for children. You do it through discipline when that discipline is required or needed. He who ignores discipline despises himself, but whoever heeds correction gains understanding. Train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far from him. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you punish him with the rod, he will not die. Punish him with the rod and save his soul from death. Discipline your son, and he will give you peace. He will bring delight to your soul. A servant cannot be corrected by mere words. Though he understands, he will not respond. If a man pampers his servant from youth, he will bring grief in the end. These are great words of wisdom for parenting and discipline and training. Now, it doesn't always work out in a perfect fashion or the way we might expect, because there is always the responsibility of the one who is being disciplined to respond appropriately to it. So it's kind of a two-way street. But this is words of wisdom given to those who would parent a child or even be the master over some servant, maybe in an employee-employer relationship. There are some proverbs here regarding law keeping and the importance of simply being the person who is astute with regard to law so that we can give ourselves an opportunity for peace, so that we can live a life that is free from chaos. There are proverbs regarding repentance and its importance in one's life. He who conceals his sins does not prosper, but whoever confesses and renounces them finds mercy. There's great healing and great cleansing that comes from penitence and being willing to admit our own mistakes. Then there's a large section of Proverbs today on good and evil, which shouldn't surprise us. Many of them contrast righteousness versus wickedness. And I want to read some excerpts here to illustrate this point. When the righteous prosper, the city rejoices. When the wicked perish, there are shouts of joy. The Lord detests men of perverse heart, but he delights in those whose ways are blameless. The memory of the righteous will be a blessing, but the name of the wicked will rot. The light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked is snuffed out. Misfortune pursues the sinner, but prosperity is the reward of the righteous. You're familiar with this one probably. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a disgrace to any people. The Lord detests the way of the wicked, but he loves those who pursue righteousness. There are some proverbs on integrity and perversion. The man of integrity walks securely, but he who takes crooked paths will be found out. The Lord detests the thoughts of the wicked, but those of the pure are pleasing to him. He whose walk is blameless is kept safe, but he whose ways are perverse will suddenly fall. Bloodthirsty men hate a man of integrity and seek to kill the upright. And then finally, we read a section on appropriate consequences. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. He mocks proud mockers, but gives grace to the humble. The wise inherit honor, but fools he holds up to shame. The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but he thwarts the craving of the wicked. Be sure of this, he says. Be sure of this. The wicked will not go unpunished, but those who are righteous will go free. He who seeks good finds goodwill, but evil comes to him who searches for it. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who wins souls is wise. The faithless will be fully repaid for their ways, and the good man rewarded for his. He who pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. Basically, these texts tell us you can find what you're looking for. Are you looking for foolishness and wickedness? It is easily found. Are you looking for wisdom and love and honor and righteousness? God provides the pathway to those for those who seek it. Isn't it great to be a lamplighter? His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. I hope you have a blessed day.